Hello, bonjour. Excuse my appearance, I'm in the garden. I've come down to do a bit of feeding some of the plants, although they're all doing really well, as you'll see in a minute. And I just thought give them another bit of feed because I keep forgetting either it's raining and I can't come down or I'm not around. Anyway, excuses over. Let me just try and show you, although I've only got my camera phone on me, but try and show you how we're doing. Some people like to see the garden throughout the season, or seasons even, and just to show you what's happening. Let's turn you around. Okay, let's start in this corner. This is my raspberry plant that I put in a pot because I didn't want it to take over the garden, but it's not done very well, so I don't quite know whether to put it in the ground, but I don't want it to say I don't want it to take over. This is the blackberry bush, which is the first year it's properly done anything. We've got quite a few, I don't know if you can see, because we've had to put mesh on to try and keep the birds from eating my berries. But there's a few there. Whoops, there you see. A few there to see that need picking. It's all the way along there. Then next to it is my, unfortunately using this camera gets in quite close, so I'll do my best. But yes, this is my celeriac and carrot bed, and they've done quite well this year. Last year I grew celeriac and they were very small. I think they can't really see there. You can just see there, they're starting to come up at the bottom there. And it looked like they might be a good size, which is good. Yes, this one there's trying to get out of the ground, which is good. And there's carrots in there as well, whether they've, because I've tried so desperately to keep them separated this year, because they tend to curl around each other, don't they? But we'll see. Up there, this is the ridiculous butternut. That is only 2 plants, and I'm very glad I did only put 2 in. It is ridiculously happy in there. And there we've got lots of butternuts coming. I've tried to give them something to sit on so they don't rot. We'll try and get round the other end. So I'll put lots of hay on there this time, and obviously that will help keep it moist. I'm hoping we've done the right thing. If anybody knows better, let me know. But you see, some of the little ones have rotted and fallen off, but as it's going, we may have too many anyway. But what have we got in here? Got one in there. There's one over there. Whoa, that's nearly about ready for picking. That is huge. Yeah, so that's that. Another nice big one there. It's quite hard to walk around now because I'll put straw on the outside as well, because obviously that's the problem with squashes. They grow ridiculously. Another one there sitting nicely in bed. Yep, that's that same one. I saw one down here. That's not doing bad either. Yeah, so yay for the butternuts. I may have to be freezing some, sadly, because I don't know how long they'll keep out here without being eaten. Here are onions. I don't think anybody watches regular know that I usually go from seed, buy the seeds, or like the little, I think it's, well, I'm going to call it a seed onion, but this year we actually saw someone selling some at a vide grenier, and I bought the plants for change, and they are very different, and normally my onions are growing individually, but these have all come up clumped together, so we'll see. But and this on the end, this one is from an avocado pip. Now whether I'm going to actually get any avocados, I don't know, but it was a bit of an experiment to see if it would take. Over here, as usual, it's nasturtiums. Again, if you watch regularly, you'll know that I haven't planted any potatoes this year because there seemed to be a lot coming from what I'd obviously missed last year. So, and I've already dug up a few potatoes, so not too bad. Strawberries, I think they didn't come back this year as we expected, but there's a small amount there and we don't really expect to get a lot of fruit from that. Unlike the blackberries, I've already had enough to make at least one pie so far. This is the rocket, the mint. I don't know why I'm growing chives because I very rarely use chives, but it all helps, especially the flowers. I'm sure the bees like it. And down this end, I did actually plant some of my own butternut seeds, and as you can see, they didn't take. So nothing much has happened in this area. We bought that trellis to make a removable gate for the guest gazebo, but it's been so much going on, he hasn't got round to doing that. The toilet is up and running, so to speak, for the rest of the season. I mean, it's mainly for obviously when we're down here gardening we can use it, but it's mainly for when we have parties, but we didn't have one this year because the weather was awful at the time. And this pear tree doesn't seem to be very happy. I don't remember seeing any blossom on it, and I definitely can't see any fruit coming. But I don't feel too bad because we didn't plant that. That was just one that's appeared itself. Let's wander through the other side of the garden. I'll skip around the edge because we haven't got a bit of fence there yet. Saves me opening the gate. So everything here is doing nicely. Fire pit hasn't been used yet this year. We keep seeing frogs. They seem to manage to get in there. Next door's cat was in there chasing a frog the other day. And then when they get in there, they realise they can't get out. So we're going to put a ramp in so they can get out. Had we thought about that when we actually put the fire pit in, we'd have put a tunnel in or something for them to get out of. It'd be a lot of work now. Salvia, I think, that one, isn't it? I've just actually got a plant identification app, so we're going to be going around the garden and identifying a lot of our plants, because very often we buy them, we don't remember what they are or just don't know what they are. And so we've bought some spikes off Temu, and we're going to get some slate and make some labels ourselves so we can remind ourselves what we've got. That fuchsia over there is doing really nicely. This bed, I think Duncan's extended it a little bit, made it a little bit deeper. That's doing very well as well. The Acer, I think it's an Acer. As I told you, I don't know. The Macron, the Prime Minister's put out word that he wants everybody to keep an eye on their water features and everything because of the mosquitoes this year. So we're making sure our water butt is sealed, and that we have to keep just emptying every now and then. This fern Duncan put in, we didn't think it was going to do anything, but it's suddenly picking up, so that's good. We just moved it. These have gone silly this year. They're really tall. I love them. Over here, this bed is doing really nicely as well. We did have a problem with this plant. Again, don't really know what it's called. It has suddenly picked up, but Duncan keeps finding slugs in them. We see we've provided these bits of wood here as insect homes and things like that. But on the downside, we have ended up with lots of slugs living underneath it, so Duncan's been destroying those. This, if you haven't seen before, this was a big mound of wood. We've finally cleared it, and we've been umming and ahhing. It was going to be a wildflower patch. We did put some seeds in this year, but they didn't take, so maybe we put them in at the wrong time, I don't know. But it's then made us think, being under this cherry tree of Leon's, maybe they wouldn't do so well. But anyway, we've ummed and ahed. We thought about putting a rockery in, and now we've decided we're going to put a pond in. Yes, I know we're going to be inviting mosquitoes again, but we'll deal with that. So yeah, I think that's going to look really nice there, and we'll put lots of plants around it and everything. Over here was a bit of an overflow of the wood area. We finally cleared that, and that camellia Duncan dug up because it wasn't very happy. See, I did know that one. And the one behind it is just grown on its own, so we've decided that can stay. So yeah, so we've put it back in the ground, and he's pretty happy. We put the right soil in around it now. And I've been adding my coffee grounds, because apparently that's supposed to be very good for camellias. Here, these steps are a new thing, because this was just bash, as we call it. It's a ground cover to keep the weeds away, but obviously the weeds keep coming through anyway. So he's made steps here for us to get to the water butts. And he's going to put another layer on there of something. We're not quite sure yet. Crazy paving or something. Last weekend we was separating lots of succulents and repotting them, and we call these Marcels mainly because we know that's not the right name, and we do know the name, not that I can think of it right now. We call them Marcels because our friend Marcel gave us one, and it's sort of gone from there. So yeah, so we've been replanting baby Marcels. We've got this horrible dumping ground around the back here. That plant, that one there, Duncan dug up because he said it didn't look right where it was. And he put it over the fence thinking it'll rot away. And we noticed it was growing quite happily, just sitting on the mound. It's only got that little bit of earth around the roots. And yeah, so we're giving that to Sharon. She said any donations gratefully received. So yeah, so this is all this end of the garden, and we're very proud of our garden, as you know. And it's I did forget to show you. Let me take you back in again, because we've been a bit worried. It took a long time for some things to come through. Namely the tomatoes. There you go. We did have 4 tomato plants in there, and we don't have a cat sat on them, which is why, hence the sticks there. But we lost 2, so we only had 2 left. So Duncan's been training the tomatoes to go along some wires, and we won't obviously get tons, but we now have tomatoes growing. So that's a good result. I've just noticed one tomato's fallen off down there. Let's see it, there it is, never mind. I'll come in and pick those soon. So let's go back to the other side. I'm trying to be very steady with my camera, so apologies if it's not. Right, back onto the decking area. Here, this is all the succulents we were splitting up and spreading them into different pots, like I say, at the weekend. Duncan read that when you separate succulents, that you don't water them when you plant them. I didn't know. Gave a few of them water, but they still look okay, so we'll just leave them for a while. Our olive tree, which has taken a long time to to get anywhere. It's in a pot, I know, but again, we didn't really have anywhere else to put it. But it's got some olives growing. Whether they come to any fruition, as it were, I don't know. And this is the original Marcel. So he's doing okay. This is an oleander, which we bought when we was on holiday because we thought it's warm. It was warm where we were, and we thought, well, that'll obviously do well because it's in there in the warm, and it'll do well when we got dry conditions in our garden. Turns out you can buy them everywhere here. We didn't see them before. That plant there is another one that Duncan's taken off a main plant. I think it's a snowball plant. That's another one that's going to Sharon. And this is our, I've forgotten the name of it. You'll all know, you're probably shouting at the screen, and I'll put the name up, but that was a very small plant when we got it. Another one we're very proud of. Did you spot the difference here? We did have some bright green plastic chairs, which we really loved when we bought them, but they started to get black mould on them, and you're supposed to be able to use a lighter or something to get rid of the mould, but we couldn't get it to go, and Duncan was not happy, so we bought these. A bit dubious about it because we got like 6 chairs for about €100, which I thought was good, but they are so comfortable, and I think they blend in a lot better. They're in more of a natural colour. Obviously you've seen the summer house has been given a coat of paint. I would rather it was all one colour, but Duncan likes the different colour woods. There you go, so you see there, as I say, we've been planting up these succulents. That pot's been empty for a long time, so it was nice to finally get something in there. Some more there. And these palms are fairly new, I think, but they seem quite happy. And finally the water feature is now working. It's on a solar pump, and it only goes obviously when the sun's out or when it's light enough, but we're really pleased with that. I still feel like it needs something else, but at least it's working now, and you can't beat that sound, can you? Do you remember this rose? This is the rose that a friend of ours gave us to look after, and then in the end she meant, when she said look after, she meant basically have that, because she hadn't got anywhere to put it. It's beautiful, pink and white stripe, and we had beautiful roses on it, and then suddenly had lots of dead heads. I don't know what happened, so Duncan's had to cut it right back. There's another plant at the back there that Duncan's planted, but can't remember what it's called. I've got another video actually. I'll try and see if I can work it in with this one, where I just took some, it's either video or pictures, where I took pictures of the garden at night showing the lights. So I'll try and add that on this one. In fact, I think he did take it out. He was just. This is, oh, I didn't tell you about these. This is a new addition. These slabs, well, they're like slate, just to mark a path. We've done that a couple of weeks ago, so that's quite nice. But I'd also like something to be going over the top of there. So we're sort of thinking on it. There's no lights inside those cones, but they're just decoration. There we go, we've got more plants this side now. Sort of laurels and things like that. Laurels and I think it's lilacs. Now this is obviously a hydrangea. For some reason that one has not done as well, but I can now see that, what's the weed? The one that grows everywhere, that's right. I'll have to pull some of that out in a minute. That one's growing quite happily. We learnt recently that that's poisonous, but I suppose a lot of plants are if you eat them, which we're not going to. That's more of a lily, I think. That hydrangea's better than it was. You see those metal pots there, they're usually just decorated around the bed, but Duncan's decided he's going to make a totem pole with all our metal pots. So watch this space for that one. Now this, Duncan's extended the bed across here because we bought that banana plant. I mean, obviously it needs space to, you're thinking ahead, space to grow. So he's bought this bed out here with some stones because we haven't got any more of the edging that we use, although we may replace it, but I think it looks fine at the minute. And made that a bit of a tidier way into the guest garden. This is my honeysuckle, and that has just gone ridiculous this year. It's gone right across the wires, right over there now, which is good. And on this side, Duncan doesn't like it because he says he's got too many different plants in one space, but I just love the fact they're growing. But just there at the bottom you can see we've got another clematis. It's trying to come out here as well. That's growing on this side of the gazebo. As I say, that's the new banana plant. Seems quite happy. And then this is our most recent purchase. There's a couple of these we spotted in the garden centre. On that behind it is yet another clematis, another one that grows over the gazebo, and you can just see, just take you round, that has become quite bushy. It's not as many flowers at the moment, but it was absolutely covered and it was beautiful. See the the guest area isn't looking the tidiest at the minute, but I'm got to come down and do that later on because we've got guests arriving this weekend. So I need to get that tidied up. Yeah. That again was another quite small plant when we bought that. This bed, say, has been extended, bought out a lot more now, so slightly less grass to cut. Little butterflies and bees are happy. Perhaps the camera shy, not coming out. That seems to have picked up. Those metal cart wheel inners I bought just for decoration a few years back. It's our buddleia. It's supposed to be miniature. I mean, it still looks quite big to me, but that's alright this year. That's my frog. I painted, if you've watched Fopy's Creations, which is now Fopy Upcycle. Right, I'll show where I painted that. Now, I've got to definitely do some weeding, but I'm going out soon for going to have my hair cut, so I'll have to do it later. Those black spidery plants, or grasses, I keep thinking they've died and they keep coming back. Another fern Duncan's put in. You can see in there, that's all the wood. It looks like it's trying to escape. That's all the wood that we, where we chopped this tree down. That's why there's a big gap. Because there was a dead tree and another one that was encroaching on the neighbour's garden right across the alleyway. So he's cut all that down so that next year we'll be ready to cut that for the fire. There's another snowball plant that was Duncan separated and put in there. And the lavender seems happier there. And Duncan wants to give the bug houses a bit of a refurb. He'll get round to that eventually. I've been trying to clear up here. Again, these aren't what we've planted. They've always been here, but we keep trying to clear it. And the stones next to our gate keep swelling and making it hard to open the gate, so Duncan's got to make the gate smaller. Another job. Over here is just where we used to store our wood, but now it's obviously in the garage we've now bought, and there's a plant there that Duncan has moved. Don't to put in there just to make this a little bit nicer. That big metal tub has always been there, and that plant has just decided to grow into it from the trees around it. And this is obviously a dumping ground. But we did pick these plants up at the Vid Grenier at the weekend. So we've got a chamomile. We know the name of that one because the lady told us, and don't quite know what the other two are. But as I say, I'm going to go around with my plant identifier app. Bamboo is looking really good in there. So yeah, so let's take you just down round to the guest garden side. That spotty one, as I say, that's a bit poisonous. I think, is it ragwort? Something like that. Nice fern there. There's another pear tree that doesn't seem to have done very much. I love this plant. It's just anything with big leaves is just lovely. What I would like at some point, I would like an arch there. So I think it would look perfect. But it's another future project. The lily of the valley. I don't know if they're positioned wrong. It don't seem to get very many flowers on that either, but maybe it's just taking its time. The rose there. I think that rose was one I bought for about €1 in Lidl's or somewhere. You can see here the farmer's field, everything's really tall at the moment, and this on the edge of our garden is a public pathway, if you like. Obviously no one uses it, you can tell that. But it does. We don't like the fact that it takes our view away, but we do like the fact that it makes us very secluded. Is this a lily? I'm not sure. But that's, again, got quite big this year. And this is our second banana plant that we bought. Again, looking very happy. This, is it cordyline? I don't know. That was quite a small one again when we moved in. We bought that. So yeah, we've extended the guests' little barbecue area. It's literally just for the barbecue to sit on. But we've extended it a bit because it wasn't quite big enough. And these fuchsias, they seem to do really well. Do like a fuchsia. And there's a laurel there they do go really well, laurels, don't they? Right next to it is another camellia, which Duncan didn't realise what it was, but that was really big, but he's had to cut that right back. Another bamboo. Yep, as I say, I can see some weeds as I'm walking around. So yeah, there was a garden update. There's unfortunately a bit of weeding for me to do, but I will have to do that later, as I say, because I've got to go out. But that gives you an idea where we are in August 2024. Au revoir, bonne santé, see you next time.